Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are going to work on the engine bay of the Touring Project 2.0, specifically relocate the battery from the engine bay to the trunk of the car. In the first video of Touring 2.0, I asked you guys whether or not I should relocate the fuse box to somewhere else in the car. And it seems like majority of you guys are not in favor of that idea. It's more work than it's worth, and I agree with that. I do also want to say thank you to all of those that sent me pictures and videos and discussed and brainstormed that idea to great lengths to try to figure it out. Thank you so much. That's what the community is all about, and that is what I enjoy so much about making these videos. So in today's video, we are going to focus on the passenger side where the battery is located. There are two reasons why I want to relocate the battery to the trunk of the E30 Touring. Number one is weight distribution. So the rule of thumb is these cars, when they came with a 4-cylinder, the battery would be in the engine bay. When they came with a 6-cylinder, the battery would be in the trunk for weight distribution purposes. I do believe that is the case for pretty much all E30s except for the cabriolets. I think they all had them in the engine bay. I might be wrong. Please correct me if I am wrong on that. This car started life as a 4-cylinder. It had an M40 B18 inline 4 engine. I swapped it for a heavier US spec S50 B30 inline 6. And now that I have more weight in the front of the car, I want to relocate the battery to the back. Number two is the shaved engine bay, or at least the declutter and cleanup of the engine bay. So the battery takes up a lot of room. It's very messy right here, despite the beauty covers that you find on some of the 4-cylinders, such as the S14, the M42, etc. They do a really good job of cleaning everything up, but this just doesn't have to be here anymore, so it's gonna go. Right here, there are two indentations on the sound insulation where this terminal is going to be mounted. I am gonna take off the insulation just to make it easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. I'm fairly certain that the metal on the back end is already pre-drilled. So like I said, you're gonna be attaching this right here, and then the power wire is just gonna sit right here, and it'll be nice and tucked away. So that was a lot easier than I anticipated. You can see right here, the little plate that I punched out, you saw, took a couple taps, very easy. So now we have this opening down here and these two already pre-drilled holes where the terminal is going to mount to, and then it's gonna run through this hole into the cabin of the car. Now there is some sound insulation right here that I can feel, so I think we're gonna have to clear that out and dig a little bit deeper from the inside of the car, but overall, as you can see, it's very easy to follow the predetermined path of this positive battery cable. This cover right here has 1, 2, 3 metal clips at the bottom that compress when you push down on them. At the top, there are plastic just hooks that hold it in. So what you're gonna do is you're going to push down and compress those metal clips. Be gentle, because obviously this is old plastic that is exposed to a lot of elements. Try not to break it. Let's hope I don't break mine on camera here. Okay, there we go. And as you can see right here, you got those clips that we just compressed, and those are the hooks at the top. So the reason why we're removing this is because this is gonna give us access to the back to fasten the bolts. You're gonna need 2 bolts. Usually the stock ones are Torx. I could not really source those locally. I went to Ace Hardware and I got a correct length Allen bolt that is gonna work just as well. These are M6. This terminal is now going to feed through these 2 holes right here. I can feel with my finger that the hole that I punched out earlier is right there. So we're gonna have a straight shot into the side here. So there are 3 10mm nuts down here that are holding the glove box in place. You don't need to remove them all the way, just loosen them enough so that your glove box can come out, just like this. Huh, that's cool. Check this out. So what I found is a sticker that has some of the load capacity specs of the trailer hitch that's actually installed in this car. It says Oris is the company, Metallbau KG, Hans Riele in Möglingen. Really, really cool. I love finding stuff like this. It had fallen behind the glove box. I wonder if this is supposed to actually go on a trailer hitch. Not sure. So this right here is actually a pretty interesting setup. There's a little like plate that you have to very gently pull out because this thing is so brittle. And this covers 2 Phillips screws that then allow you to remove these rear tie downs. What is this? Look at that. This is like a old tire crowbar. Is that supposed to be here? That can't be. It doesn't fit there. This is like bolted down. There's nowhere for this to just slide in. Elora, West Germany. Let's talk about the bitter truth segment of this project. If you have a sedan, so a 2-door or 4-door, completely ignore everything I'm about to say because it does not apply to you. I am working on a E30 Touring, which as you guys know, are different in the back. They also never came to the United States, which makes sourcing the correct cable for the E30 Touring very, very difficult. I don't even know how available they are in Europe or in the rest of the world, but in the United States, yeah, there's no chance to get them. So I wanted to use a sedan cable because those, on the other hand, are plenty available. Now, there are some very important details that I overlooked. And again, this is just a Touring specific problem. On the E30 Touring, the positive battery cable gets routed over the fender well, and then it goes into the battery area, which means number 1, the cable is longer, and number 2, the battery connector is different. On the Touring, it is an L-shaped because the battery cable comes from the top, while on the sedan, it comes from the trunk side, and it's L-shaped, but it's flat. So let me show you what I did. So the battery cable runs under your fuel filler tube, and it goes into this back opening right here, just like on the sedans. In the trunk, I opted to use one of these existing holes and drill it larger at an angle. I installed a grommet and then ran the cable along the inside of the trunk to the back where the battery sits. So as a reminder, on the Touring, it would have gone up here, over the wheel well, and into the battery area. So this works for me, but I could definitely understand and I can see why people would criticize this choice because drilling into the metal of your car is never fun. The other part we need to talk about is this temporary negative cable situation. Now this is an E46 cable because it's quite a bit longer. The E30 one, usually there would be some studs back here tacked or welded onto the metal of the car to ground the battery. That cable is way too short. I don't have anywhere to put it. So I chose the E46 cable, which is readily available. I temporarily secured it up here because I have to replace the battery metal, the battery like bottom area, which rusts on these cars all the time. And when I do that, I am going to weld on a threaded stud so that I can run the cable down into the underside of the battery and ground it that way. Okay, this is a pretty minor but very important detail. Don't forget to vent your battery if your battery needs to be vented. You can use any rubber hose. You can use the little box that comes on the E30 stock, which of course nowadays is very difficult to come by. I am using a hose that I literally just pulled out of an E46 with the little grommet. So I'm gonna drill a hole behind the bumper and just vent to atmosphere. So that being said, let's wrap up the rest of the car. So this is about it for the front. I relocated the negative cable from the shock tower to the firewall, took off some paint, grounded it there for the time being. I also have the terminal all hooked up with the starter cable, as well as some of the accessory cables and like your fuse box power and everything. This is about what it's gonna look like on your end. It could obviously differ depending on what car you have, what engine. I have a 24 valve swap, so this is what it looks like, but that's the finished product. Let's put the beauty cover on and enjoy the view.